Hey, good morning, Mizzou fans. Gabe DeArmond here, back with PM in the AM after a couple days off. February 11th is a Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe, all of those things here on YouTube. Watch the video on our platform on 24/7 Sports. This morning, talking about Dennis Gates' starting five. It's been a little bit of a topic of conversation here in the last few days. Missouri lost 2 games last week. So some questions because of slow starts. Should Dennis Gates look at the 5 guys that are starting the game? Let me say, first of all, overall, there aren't major problems for Missouri. They lost a game by 4 points at Tennessee when Tennessee shot absolutely lights out and looked like every bit of the best team in the country. They then lost a game by 3 points to Texas A&M on a three-pointer with 1.8 seconds left. Texas A&M top 10 team. So no reason to panic, and no major concerns for Missouri. However, in both of those games, they really struggled at the start. They're down 12-0 to Texas A&M. In the Tennessee game, they didn't score until more than 5 minutes had gone. Now, Tennessee was only up 5-0. So they didn't bury Missouri early. They waited to do that until late, but the start still slow. So Dennis Gates has gone with basically the same not basically, with the same starting lineup. I don't know the exact number of games, but I want to say 8 to 10 games now. Tamar Bates, Trent Pierce, Tony Perkins, Mark Mitchell, Anthony Robinson. It's obviously a little bit smaller of a lineup because Mitchell, 6'9", not a traditional big, but he's the guy that's playing the post, because Trent Pierce is, he's not he's not an interior player. He's a 6'10" guard, to be quite honest. So then you've got Bates, Perkins, and Robinson, who are obviously a traditional 3-guard lineup. So I think the questions here are Robinson and Pierce. And I think the most logical replacements would be Caleb Grill and Josh Gray. You could argue Marquez Warwick, because Missouri really likes bringing Caleb Grill off the bench. And I understand the logic. It's worked, all that. Also, at some point, you want your best player or one of your 2 best players probably in the game to start rather than waiting. Sometimes it's 2 minutes, sometimes it's 5 minutes. Trent Pierce has not played well the last couple games. Caleb Grill is a pretty easy insertion for him. The other one would be Anthony Robinson. He's been struggling a little bit lately. My big concern with Robinson right off the bat is the foul trouble. He had 2 early against Tennessee. Not a problem against A&M, but it's something we've seen with Robinson. So if you sit him for 3-4 minutes, does that let him understand maybe a little bit more how the game is being called? The other player that figures in here, and I think if Robinson's out, Marquez Warwick is probably your guy. But the other player that factors in is Josh Gray. If you want to keep Caleb Grill on the bench to start, if you take Trent Pierce out, you put Josh Gray in, you're a different defensive and rebounding team at the start. That doesn't help the offense, which has been the issue at the beginning. So again, this is really just a conversation. Here are the options. I'm not sure Dennis needs to change anything. They've played fine. It's just been those first 5 minutes have been a problem. He tends to be a guy that, as long as a lineup is winning, he's going to stick with it and not change it. See if that is different now that Missouri has lost a couple games. Even though they played relatively well, game's been close, all that, they still are 2 losses. 8 o'clock Wednesday night against Oklahoma. I'll be interested to see what Missouri's starting 5 is, if it looks any different. And again, to wrap up, the starting 5 is not that big a deal, guys. It's like 4 minutes out of 40. It's much more important who's playing the second half minutes than who's playing the first 5. But it's just something to follow. See maybe what Dennis does with it. Appreciate you hanging out. Basketball Media Day later today. Drew King going to have coverage from that. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning right here, PM in the AM.